Clock. I'll call the meeting to order. I'll rise to stand and pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Additions
Sorry.
or deletions from the, you breaking stuff?
I was wrapped around my chair and I'm like, about to stand up and I'm like, I'm gonna fall.
Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
What was the addition from, nothing, I'll have it next week.
I just have a brief executive thing.
Okay.
Guests, Mr. Weatherby on.
I don't see him yet. It says waiting for,
Okay.
so he hasn't joined the meeting.
John?
Couple of things. If the work crew has some time, could they clean up all the grass and weeds that are growing out of the bridge? I mean, it looks awful to have people come through and there's weeds and grass growing out both ends of the bridge everywhere.
Okay.
And the second thing, remember, this is for Alan probably, because you're the water, right? Oh, Andy and I do it. Remember, now it's probably been 3, 4, maybe 5, but you put in a backflow valve at the Methodist Church.
Yeah, you're talking about the parsonage, right?
Well, I'm talking about the parsonage now, because we have the same problem in the parsonage.
Yeah.
The water backs up when we get these awful rainstorms, and we have 3, 4 sump pumps in there.
Yeah, I did talk to Jeremy about that.
Because I mentioned it to Jeremy.
Yeah, I talked to Jeremy, and what we're going to do is, before we do anything, we really need to know what we're dealing with, so he's gonna have, I think it was Dylan, run a camera through there. Because the sewer shouldn't be backing up in a heavy rainstorm like that.
Oh, it's not the sewer, it's just water from the drain. Same in the church, it wasn't the sewer.
Okay, because he told me there was concern that the.
No, it's not sewer water, no.
You couldn't flush the toilets when the water was high and.
Yeah, that may have happened at one time, I think but it's not sewer water that's backing up, it's
Anyway,
just storm water.
He's gonna look at it and see, because the concern was if there was an old connection that maybe long ago got missed, and somehow the storm drain is connected to the sewer, then we'll need to dig it up and make sure that it's disconnected. If it's something other than that, then we'll have to look at what needs to be done, whether it's a valve or whatever. The big concern is we want to make sure that the storm drain isn't somehow causing something with the sewer, so we want to make sure they're not connected. So he's going to get the camera run through and then
Okay.
go from there.
Because it did solve the problem in the church of the water coming, filling up the basement.
Anything else, Sean?
Oh, and I've got one thing probably for executive session on a zoning issue that's
Okay.
could be in court.
Rowena?
Okay, have a little challenge for the town crew, if they could come up with a more permanent solution. Every time it rains and stuff, I know they put gravel in it at the People's Trust lot, that right by the crosswalk. There's a gravel there and it washes out, and there's like right now there's a good foot deep gully that's about 8 to 10 inches across. And somebody not paying attention could easily step down in there
And there's some pipes that stick out too, and the water washes out.
so if there's some way that, I know they've put gravel in there before, but I don't know if it means that you need to put like,
Sure-pack or something like that.
you know,
So
some
what?
Sure-pack or something like that.
sure-pack or put in some baffling of, like rebar or something in there that's gonna hold the gravel where it's at. And then, I know it's a long ways away, but it'll be here before we know it. Is up at the Main Street Park, when we do the Christmas decorating, the town crew or whoever, the rec crew, pulls a whole bunch of soil out of those barrels and puts sand in to put this Christmas trees in there. And then every spring, beautification comes by, cleans all the sand out to put the soil. So if we could come up with something to where we're not wasting those resources, because we're just tossing the sand and we're putting in brand new soil every year, where the soil could go a couple of years and stuff, but I don't know why. There's gotta be a reason why they need to pull out the soil and place it with sand, whether that does something better or whatever to hold the Christmas trees.
I can bring that back to the rec
I
committee.
mean, I wouldn't say, it doesn't seem like it would matter. I mean, the trees are not living, so I mean.
The trees that we put in there?
Yeah, the little, well, they're alive, but they're
Yeah, they're
not, they don't
alive.
have
We get-
roots or anything.
Okay,
That's what I
yeah,
mean,
we
so
get
I
it
mean,
from-
whether they're in sand or dirt, or
Yeah,
potting soil,
yeah.
it shouldn't make a difference.
That's odd. Yeah, I'll have to ask that. I'll ask that question in our next rec meeting.
Yeah, cause
To see
it will
what- yeah.
save you time and effort to do it
Yeah.
and save the cost on that thing. Okay. Kristen, did you hear any reports back on for the Eagle?
Yeah. So I'm actually going to bring that up. So I did talk to Brandon, and he can do it before the end of the fall, but he is going to require a fee, and the fee is just for the head, just to repaint the head. And I don't know a lot about the Eagle, so I don't know if that was an art grant. I don't know how the Eagle got there, if the town paid Brandon to actually put the Eagle
It
up.
was a grant.
It was a grant.
It was like an
and
art
was-
grant, right?
Linda Collins
Yeah.
got some grant money
Okay,
for
yeah,
it.
because I know he did one down in St. Albans too,
Yeah.
that he got an art fund for. So, I guess in the future, we just need, when grants are given out, we just need to think about hey, what about the restoration or, the
Mhm.
well-being, because I don't think people plan for that kind of stuff when we
Right.
get donations such as this or a grant such as this. So he wants $150 to actually just paint the head. And if we want the whole thing kind of restored, and paint the whole thing, he wants $750. So obviously the select board can either say yay or nay to either or one or the other.
Yeah.
Is there a maintenance or a sealant that he would suggest putting on it once a
It
year?
is, I mean.
Once he repaints it and brings it back to life, he
But
can
he's gonna-
reseal it once a year?
Yeah, and he
And
would
they just
require a
charge us-
fee
right.
to keep the maintenance on it.
To
Yeah.
maintain it.
Yeah.
Right, but it wouldn't be as expensive to maintain
Right,
it.
to maintain it.
Once it's back to regular colors.
And is that something that's in your budget?
I'm sure Kylie can find some money for it somewhere. I mean, I think there's some leftover monies here's and theirs, but my budget is like nothing. I don't have a lot in my budget for,
Yeah.
lawn mowing is my budget of the cemeteries. So,
I'd make a motion to do it.
I have a second.
I'll second that.
All those
so
in
do
fa-
we want it restored, like the $750 restoration?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think you probably do the whole thing.
Yeah,
and
the
put
whole-
it-
full restoration.
and find out what it's gonna cost each
Is that-
year
is that-
and just
Is that what you're
include it.
covering
And
in
then
your
that's
motion?
here.
Alan?
Yep.
Okay. All
And
those
then
in
set
favor?
him up for maintenance once a year.
Okay.
Yeah. All those in favor?
Aye.
Alright.
Aye. And then it's a
Anything
small.
further, Louise?
The locking of the playground, I've heard some people talking about, they're a little unhappy about it, but they get it. And I was just wondering if it's been doing what it's supposed to keep the people out and discourage the people that we don't want down there that do the vandalism. Do we feel like it's?
I think it's. I would say yes. I think it's working. I think it's doing what we wanted it to do. People are getting angry that don't abuse it.
Mhm.
That's kind of what we wanted. So
Right.
everyone's around talking. Hey.
Yeah.
And I presume that that is gonna stay locked until we can get some security footage down there.
That's good, okay.
So.
Let's see, reminder of, next Monday, for the joint meeting with the Development Review Board and the Select Board and, and the planning. And some of the things like, I don't know, with the parking ordinance where that is or anything, but that's something that you should have, the bylaws kind of follow the same thing on that. And if you wanna know what the bylaws for parking, you can pass that around and just take a look at that and think of where, with the ordinance, where that's going.
And what trumps what, just so I know. The
I
bottom.
don't think that they should agree.
No, but I mean, but if it push came to shove, which would,
Would the ordinance trump the?
But that's not, it doesn't follow the state now, because that's saying 2 parking per
Right.
yeah,
resident.
it's now 1.5.
1.5, yeah.
No, I think it's 1 now.
Oh,
Did
they've
they go
done,
down to one?
I think it's 1, yes.
okay, so I'll look at it and see how it, aligns.
Yeah, and I guess that's about it. So, and thank you for the conversation on Willow Street that we're getting
Yeah.
at.
Well, at least the conversation's been had.
Good.
Is Robert on now?
Yes.
Robert, do you have anything you would like to bring up?
Yes, I do.
Alrighty.
I'd like to go back to the May 8th meeting where I asked about who wrote the memorandum of understanding. And it was documented in the meeting. Chair Steenhauer stated the board sat down together and wrote the memorandum. Is that correct?
Bob, I think we've discussed this in the past. I consider it a closed issue, but we'll discuss it again if you want. Miranda has done, Marissa, sorry, has done some research. She can speak a little bit to it, and then I'll chime in where necessary.
So regarding where you said that the agenda and the minutes were not posted, that meeting occurred on March 14th. And we went over the fire department policies. The memorandum was written after the meeting.
Say March or May?
May. It was March.
It was March. This was all the way back. The
Oh.
meeting for the fire department happened, and which you attended. You were in attendance. That is posted on the website, the agenda and the meeting minutes.
And
I don't find where it was warned on the, under an agenda.
you're saying
The memorandum?
Right, when the board sat down together to write up the memorandum.
from what Marissa is saying, that is not required to be a warrant item.
I mean,
Isn't that town business?
for the
What
memo.
was written in that memorandum was town business, right?
Well, it was something that our attorney advised us to write.
And you wrote it and emailed it.
Yeah.
And
And
the-
it was written
And the approval of it was done at a regularly sanctioned meeting.
regularly.
I don't care about that. I am just asking about the meeting. How come the meeting was not warned?
Well, the meeting was warned.
No, it was.
Let's
I
talk about one
went through
meeting.
all the agendas and everything.
So you're then let me clarify. You're saying that was not an agenda item, not that the meeting wasn't warned. There was a meeting warned for that day,
I
in
don't
which we
find
covered
no-
fire
I don't
policy.
find no minutes.
We covered fire policy, and
Part of the fire policy was the memorandum. It's written in the fire policy that there was a memorandum.
then the specifics of that memorandum were crafted and brought to the fire association, which was then subsequently approved on the following Monday at a regularly scheduled board meeting. So as far as we're concerned, that is all we have to say on the issue.
So the town writes up association policies then.
No, they
No.
write up a fire. So
A-
the fire.
A memorandum of
yeah.
understanding
Fire
between the two.
department, whatever.
So, and in that fire department policy, which was a warned meeting, if you read the fire department policies, it states in there that a memorandum of understanding the fire department policy references the memorandum of understanding. Therefore, it was warned within the fire department policy agenda.
And was that posted in 3 places?
The special meeting was warned.
The fire department policies they were posted at the library, or not the library, excuse me, the post office, the town hall, and on the website.
The memorandum, but how about the meeting?
The meeting was March 14th was the meeting.
He thinks we sat down together and wrote the memorandum together. We did not.
Not with this fire association.
Not with the fire association. The memorandum was written.
And it was
I didn't say that.
okay. Well, then I don't know. I guess we don't know what you're asking. I mean, if you have
I'm asking
if you
if the select board had a meeting and was not posted.
No, not that
I
we're.
don't find anywhere where it was posted.
If you go on the website
So-
and look up the March 14th
14th.
minute,
it's identified as a special meeting,
It's a special
which
meeting.
you attended. So that is the special meeting we are referencing, again, which you attended. And at the conclusion of that meeting, we crafted a memorandum of understanding, which was shared with the fire association by Andy Pond, and then was brought back to the board on the following Monday for approval. That is all we have to say on the issue, unless somebody else on this board has something else they'd want to add. We consider this matter closed. If you want to pursue it further, there are avenues that you can pursue, which we know you're aware of.
You said.
Do you have anything else, Bob?
What date did you say that was in the minutes?
March 14th was the special meeting.
March 14th?
Yep. Anything else, Bob?
Just as you went through the fire department policy line by line.
Yep.
Doesn't say nothing about no memorandum of understanding.
the memorandum is written in the fire department policies. There is a line that states the memorandum of understanding within that policy. Therefore, it doesn't need to be a line item in the agenda because it already is within the fire department policies and guidelines.
All right, Bob. Anything
Fire
else?
department, but not towns.
All right. Anything else new, Bob, beyond this topic?
Yeah, as long as we're on to it. I'd like to let people know that Noise Street is getting terrible. Got people hollering and shouting, dogs barking like crazy. The animal control officer has approached them and it hasn't done any good.
So I can,
One dog almost bit somebody.
this is gonna be in my update. Tracy Obet has come to me, and gave me a draft letter to send to one of the residents, who has this so-called nuisance dog. I've edited the letter and I will be sending that out, on behalf of the select board,
You know, there's motorcycles running around,
so.
no registration, no inspection. At least they're wearing a helmet.
Like, there is that.
There's a truck running around, no registration plate. Don't imagine this inspector has insurance onto it. There's a trailer being hauled around, no registration plate. So I don't imagine that is inspected. The street is getting terrible.
All right. Well, thank you for your concern. We do as much as we can within our limitations because we have no true law enforcement capabilities as a town. So when we can and when we get response from police, whether it be, I guess now state police, we take action. There was a concern just a couple weeks ago about an RV parked at the Legion parking lot. You know, through multiple board members working with the, reaching out to the state police, we were able to get it removed. But, we have to we do our best, and we acknowledge your concerns, and we'll address them as best we can.
Well, it's gotten so well. 3 residents around here put up security cameras.
Unfortunately,
Tell me someone you gotta put up security cameras. We don't have anybody patrolling. We see the state police now and then,
yeah,
but they're not contracted.
well, contracted or not, they still are here doing, they were policing. But thank you for your concern. Is there anything else, Bob?
No, that'll do it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Newton?
The only thing I'd like to bring up is, my concerns with Nixon Road. When you turn right off of 105, Nixon Road goes up basically to Matt Derby's house. Okay? And then, just beyond his house is where it ends. And, it goes up to where Jack Nixon used to live, which is why it's Nixon Road. But halfway up there, there's a left-hand turn that goes up, basically used to be, the Queen Mills house. Okay? I see that as a separate road, but it's, identified as Nixon Road. And I don't see where it's practical to have, one road going in 2 different directions. Now I know that, the highway department used to refer to that as Queens Road. And I was wondering if it'd be possible for that to go back to being Queens Road.
What are the board's thoughts?
I guess I would wonder why, doesn't that dead end up there, Dan? Does
Excuse
it dead ends up
yeah.
there, yeah?
Excuse me?
It dead ends up there?
Yes,
Yeah.
at both ends.
I would just wonder why we're spending the time and energy nobody drives up that road.
Is there a reason why you want it to go back the other way?
Well, I've been playing with the idea of, having like a museum up there, like a farm museum. And, as far as, being able to identify, where it is, if it's gonna be, Queen Mills Farm Museum, that it would be easier to identify. And I would also think that, as far as, like any emergency response vehicles going up there, okay, they go up Nixon Road, and if they're not really familiar with it, okay, well, which way do we go? As far as them being, the houses being numbered.
Andy, are there any issues
What's
with
the
you?
911 up there? What is
It's
911?
all Nixon Road,
It's
right?
all Nixon Road. I mean,
I think we'd have, I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, back in the day, the Nixon Road used to come up from near Andy Derby's, right? And went up that way. Am I wrong in that, probably? I don't know, I think,
The Johnson Road used to come across 105
yeah.
up to where Derby's house is.
before 105 was built.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can ask my dad about
I guess you'll have, let us do some research. Marissa, can you look into the story? I personally don't think we need to change it. I think going to the only thing that we do to the right is basically plow out that essentially one dooryard. We turn around in one dooryard there and then head up to Nixon Road. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, I guess it's historic. Part of that's part of something was part of the road, but it's one residential driveway that gets plowed there, and then we turn around and head straight up the rest of the road. So I don't think it's necessary to call it 2 different roads.
As for 911, they all have a 911 address, and I've never had issues getting.
So I mean, we can look into the historic part of it and see if there's any need to change it back, but I'm personally comfortable keeping it to Nixon Road. But we'll look into it to make sure we're not missing something off base.
Right.
Is there anything else?
No.
Approval of the last meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to,
I'll make a motion to approve. I'll second it.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Alright.
I wasn't here
And
much.
then you're gonna
Yeah.
abstain.
Yeah. Any opposed? Hearing none. The meeting minutes are approved. Town administrator update.
Okay, well, I gave you some of my some
Well,
of
you
my
know, it's always
updates.
gonna be that way,
It
no matter
is.
how far up the list you move yourself.
Right. Well, so Tracy Ovitt came and saw me, gave me a draft letter for the nuisance animal on Noise Street. I'll have everyone look at that, before it gets sent out. I wrote a letter of support for the Notch. Franklin County Industrial Development Corporation is sponsoring a regional economic development grant request on behalf of the Notch's social grocery store down here. The grant will get them a new oven, like a new commercial oven, so they can. I'm not really sure what else they're gonna do. But yeah, so I wrote a letter of support for them. Another topic was the shrubs. I don't think a decision can be made because Carl's not here. I think he wanted to be in the loop. You have the quote. I talked to the owner of Shumway's and he was able to get us 8 to 10 foot shrubs that are full and mature. They cover not including the first shrub, they cover a 21 foot in length. So, and we may be able to do less than 8 because they are so big and full.
That'd be my only question. Are they gonna be okay with them that big?
But that's
According to Carl, it said up. I think if we looked at the shrubbery, his what it was supposed to be 10 foot. So if they're 8 to 10 feet,
And the way that I took it from, his name is Frank, I think the bigger they get, the more mature they are, and that's eventually what those smaller shrubs will turn into. The bigger
Yeah.
they get, they're gonna get more full, and I'm assuming that they're maintained if they're grown at a nursery.
Yep.
These shrubs, and he can have them by the middle of September. So I don't know if we make a phone call.
I was gonna ask, would it benefit us just to reach out to Carl and say this is what it is, this is what we've been.
well, how about we move forward with this quote pending his okay?
His okay.
Okay.
Are you guys okay with that?
Yeah.
Make a motion to
So, yeah.
approve the quote, or it's like $5,052.
So you're gonna make a motion
I'll make a
pending his
motion to
approval.
I'll
approve that.
second it.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So, just reach out to Carl, say we got 8 to 10 footers and go in the middle of September. Are you good? Alright.
And then this is separate from my town administrator update. On behalf of the recreation committee, we're requesting every year we request $1,000 out of the holiday fund for the Harvest Festival. So I'd ask if we could receive that again.
I make a motion to approve that.
Second.
Apparently we all agree.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes.
Okay, that's all I have.
I do have a town item for executive, but the paving occurred. I drove around town today. The parking ride looks nice. I do think, personally, I think in the future we should try to expand further backwards to add a few more parking spots. I think there's 14 in there, Marissa? Not as many as I anticipated.
Yeah. I
14
agree.
or 16, something.
Yeah.
I was Kinda surprised it didn't go back further. but-
Well, I think we can, I think
Well,
that
we
was,
had, so that was all that the grant allowed
Covered.
for.
so I think we can go back, now that we
Once
did that,
it's-
we did that study.
We did the study, but do we have to wait until the grant is closed
Yeah,
out?
yeah.
And then we
Okay.
can.
Yeah. So I think that might be something.
Okay.
So Elm Street got paved, Hamilton Extension got paved, and then a couple years ago we did the initial coat up to the Pinnacle border, and they put the top coat on that to include the one residential property up at the end that didn't get it last time, so that's good. And I guess next year we hope for that grant and do a little more in town. They've been sifting sand, I saw today on my way here, so they're starting their winter maintenance stuff. I would like to get permission to, we've talked about it as part of, I'm not sure we're at the point of not saying ARPA anymore, but, and I don't think we necessarily need it to be that funding, because we have excess money in the town, the highway department budget. But to move forward with authorizing up to a certain amount to get the stone trucked, and to order a stockpile of culverts, so we have them on hand instead of always just ordering, chasing them, so I don't know what we want to approve for amount. I don't. I want to say maybe start with 10,000 for the culverts to get ahead, and I don't know if you got I think probably if we did $25,000 or $30,000 for the stone to stockpile, that would get us probably 100 loads from the quarry that Jason gets it from near St. Albans. So that would get us.
I can make a motion for that.
Any discussion on that? Because now they're getting into their slow time, so on slow days they can just spend some time trucking.
Yep.
Okay. So do I have them? Are we okay with those amounts?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So authorizing the town to spend 10,000 on culverts, and what do we want to say? 25 or 30 for the
Yeah.
stone?
25 to 30.
For the stone.
For the stone.
Okay.
Sherry made a motion. Do we have anyone else a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion passes. Alrighty, that's all I have. Building report?
Not a lot of updates right now. We did get the new doors put in the basement at the post office, those are in. If anybody needs access to it, they do have a key here at the town hall for Marissa here. She can hand it out to people as needed. Besides that, just waiting on stuff to come back and things to start happening with electrical and stuff, and the heating.
Water and sewer?
The only thing I had was what John was talking about, the house on River Street. I think we need, Jeremy talked to me about it this morning. He's gonna run a camera through first before we do anything to see if we can figure out what's going on. He wants just to make sure that the sewer line it's not an old connection to the stormwater, which we wanna know. So we don't want rough sewage going into the river, we certainly don't want stormwater going into the sewer lagoon, so, depending on what he finds, I guess we'll just go from there. If it's something that involves the storm drains, then they need to talk to Wally about what he wants to do. So it kinda depends on what they find, so.
Okay.
And that's it.
We had a conversation, was it at the last board meeting, about some camper pumping directly into
Oh, yes.
into the storm drain? Do we have an update on that?
Yes, sorry. So I contacted the state police about that issue. They contacted the state, and the state came here within 2 hours of the state police contacting them, and they were doing an investigation. They were supposed to keep me updated. I have not heard back from them, from
Okay.
the state.
Good.
But they were looking into it, so.
It's very proactive of them.
Yes.
Thank you.
I was shocked. I got a phone call at first from someone at the environmental, and then it wasn't long after the phone call and they were here in the office, and they had already been over to investigate, so.
Parks and playground?
Not much, just gonna report on that I did talk to Brandon, I will obviously get in touch with him again, and I am looking into, I have an email sent to the state, people for cemeteries, and just asking them how we might be able to bridge, like, connecting our digital world to our cemeteries, so I haven't heard back from them, but I did reach out just to kind of inquire about what that would look like, and what would go into, remapping the cemeteries digitally.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Did you ever get anything from Donald Noyce and his wife of saying that
I
they
have
were
not.
leaving the area? Because it would be nice to get that our RFP out there sooner than later.
Yes.
So can you make a point?
Yeah, I have their contact information.
So
I'll
call them.
contact them and I'll call
I mean,
them
I'm
and see.
assuming it's pretty official. Their house just went on the market.
Yeah, and
It looks like they sold most of their equipment.
Yeah, I think they've been telling.
Oh, just a quick update, sorry for that. That they did restore the gravestones in the Troy Street Cemetery, so that has been done.
Nice.
Other business? Is there any?
Oh, this memorandum that we got last meeting, Marissa, you gave it to us, you said, like, let's,
For Northwest Access,
is that something that we wanted to talk about, or is it something that we just,
that's up to you guys. I gave it to you because it's essentially up to you. I don't know.
I just know you said table it and we would revisit it, so I
Mhm.
just don't wanna lose sight of it.
I don't know if everybody's had a chance to look at it, read it over.
Yeah,
Do you want a chance to look at it before we?
yeah, at some point, yeah.
Alright, so I guess we'll table it one more time.
That's okay.
The generator at the high school, I believe, is repaired now. After dealing with Brooksfield, I actually called Catamount.
Or Caterpillar?
And they
Milton
came
Cat?
right up, yeah, Milton Cat, yeah. And they came right up, they already had the part in stock. And they said that Brooksfield had just reached out to them, and it had been a few months, so they had just got a phone call 2 days prior, so they're supposed to be sending us quotes on service agreements for a once a year, and then a maintenance check once a year, so every 6 months.
And all of our generators are Cat,
All of them,
are Caterpillar?
Yeah,
So,
Yep.
yep, okay, good enough.
so that's where we're at with those, just keep in mind.
If there's nothing else, I know you had an executive item, John has one, and I have a brief one. Mine shouldn't have any sort of action taken. Will yours have something coming out?
Yes,
Okay. And Marissa, yours will have?
No.
No, okay. So I guess I'll take a motion to go into executive.
Make a motion.
Alright,
I'll second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Alright. Make a motion to come out of executive, I mean, I guess we already did that. So you wanna read the motion?
Okay, so the motion is to deny the settlement agreement brought forward on, do we say the property?
144.
144 Main
Main Street.
Street, and to move forward with
Legal action.
more legal action.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Alright, hearing none. Motion passes.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
And then
Alright, we're-
someone's gonna make a motion to go back in.
We're gonna make a motion to go back into executive.
okay, thank you.
I'll second it.
Okay. And we're all set, sir.